Thank you, Michael, and dear fellows. I'm really pleasure. I have pleasure to speak in this panel. And first of all, I want to represent myself. I'm Nikola Gjorshoski, PhD at political science, and my field of research are generally connection between politics and and religion. And in this direction will go my presentation to see how religious propaganda of Russia is influent on the Balkan region. And I prepare some presentation to be much more clear. So could you, Liana, please allow me to share screen and to present my presentation, please?
Just a minute.
Yeah, thank you.
I will actually ask my technical team. Yasmina, could you please allow sharing?
It's allowed now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can see presentation. It is okay for all of you.
Yes, everything is okay.
Yeah. Okay. My presentation going direction the role of religion and the religious propaganda in Russia's war against Ukraine. And first of all, I would like to tell that this presentation, this paper, so-called, it is not about much more about religious position, but how religious propaganda go to the Balkan region and how Russia used the religious feelings of the people and how it make its propaganda actually. I would like to answer a few questions on this topic. First of all, why is the religious component in Russian propaganda significant? Second, what is the religious demographic structure in Ukraine? Because we will see it is a lot of disinformation, a lot of misinformation, and a lot of misunderstanding. Actually, the Balkan region that Russia like so-called argument. Third is what is the Orthodox component of Russia's religious propaganda, and finally, because we know that Balkan region is multi-religious societies, so what is the Islamic component of Russia's religious propaganda? First of all, I will speak about the basic elements of Russian religious propaganda. In the propaganda machinery, Russia presents itself as a protector of orthodoxy, a bridge for cooperation between civilization, orthodoxy and Islam, and the guardian of traditional and family values against the satanic so-called West. We can see that in construction of the main cathedral of the Russian armed forces dedicated to the 75th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War, and we can see, and you can see, I hope, mosaics that show Putin, Shoigu, Stalin, etc. And it is much more obvious that it is political and propaganda dimension much more than religious. Influential propagandists in the Balkan present Russia as a true, orthodox, and loyal alternative to the hypocritical EU. And we can see this kind of propagandists in Macedonia, in Serbia, in Montenegro, in Bosnian entity of Republic of Srpska, in Bulgaria also, and but what demography said about generally about the Ukraine religious structure? One of the biggest Russian the Balkan people, Balkan Ukrainians, not most people, first of all, or they are schismatic or they are Roman Catholic. But if you see the data, we can see that Ukrainian much more of them are Orthodox, and Ukrainian Orthodox Church has significant supporter in Ukraine. And what is much more important, Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Ukrainian Church has significant trust to social institutes in the Balkan, in the of the Ukrainians. And one more important thing is that approval rating of the Patriarch Kirill of Moscow, if you see the 2010, it is like a 44%, but at 2017, this percentage of approval are lower. So much more about the historical legacy of the religion in Ukraine. In the wake up of the breaking up of the Russian Empire, the Ukrainian Christians sought autonomy or autocephaly. And the independent autocephalous Ukrainian Orthodox Church was proclaimed by the directorate led by Simon Petluria in 1919. In 1921, an all-Ukrainian Sabor was called in Kiev, and the Ukrainian Orthodox Church was declared from the Moscow Patriarchate. The Sabor delegates choose Metropolitan Vasil Lipivsky, and you can see it on the presentation, as the head of the church. But in this form, the Ukrainian autocephalous Orthodox Church existed until 1936, when, due to the Soviet pressure, it was liquidated, and with some of its members immigrated to the United States. Much more about the establishment of the autocephalous of Ukrainian Orthodox Church. The church was united at the Unification Council in Kiev on 15th of December 2018 as a condition for recognition of it by Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, and was granted the Tomos of autocephaly, decree of independence in the church terms, and by the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople in Istanbul on 5th of January 19. And believe me, this was a really positive influence and really positive impact about the church relation between Macedonia and Serbia as well, and as well as the Macedonian Orthodox Church also gained this Thomas from Serbian Orthodox Church, and the propaganda at Macedonia go in direction toward that Russia go behind this autocephalous, not Constantinople or stuff like that. So the Unification Council voted to unite all the existing Ukrainian Orthodox jurisdiction. First of all, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, Kiev Patriarchate, the Ukrainian autocephalous Orthodox Church, as well as part of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate, the Moscow-based Russian Orthodox Church, which claim jurisdiction over Ukraine. And we will see in the next few pages how this church switch off in Ukraine Orthodox Church. You know much more about the conflict with Turret, and it was much more about the position and also some kind of Russian influence. But generally, the Unification Council elected Epifanius Dumenko, previously the Metropolitan of Perislav Dmitry and Biela Tserkva, as it presents the Metropolitan of Kiev and all Ukraine. Much more about the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate on 17th of March 2019. SN reported that 500 parishes had over to the Ukrainian to the Orthodox Church of Ukraine. Later in March this year, the primate of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarchate conceded that the statistics and acknowledged that 42 cases of legitimate defections, only while attributing scores of others to illicit activity. And on March 30th of March, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarchate acknowledged the transfer of 61 parishes, while the Orthodox Church in Ukraine claimed that 506 had been transferred to the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Ukraine. In April 2022, after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, many Ukrainian Orthodox Church most parishes signaled their intention to switch allegiance. The attitude and the stance of the Patriarch Kirill of Moscow to the war is one of the oft-quoted reasons. And this is really the best reason. And by early November 2022, it is really important information. The security service of Ukraine had exposed 33 alleged agents and alleged unofficial artillery observers among the Ukrainian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarch priests and clerics, and it had opened 23 criminal proceedings. And maybe we will hear in the later discussion really similar situation like in Montenegro happened right now. Something much more about the Orthodox propaganda narrative in this context. We can see it just 19th century. It's about the Russian world, but something similar that we can in the Balkan region. We spoke about the Serbian world, stuff like that. The Orthodox faith is the convened of ancient propaganda machinery said, and Russia stated about it, and that is the enemies of Russia are everywhere, according to Russia political narrative and political propaganda narrative, that the enemies of Russia are everywhere, and it is defense, and the defense should be played out everywhere, not only on its borders. These Tsarist premises are today the political credo of Vladimir Putin, and we can find where we can find it. We can find it literally, but at Dostoevsky works, when he writes about the mission of Russia is to correct the tragic misunderstandings of Western European civilization with the Russian words of truth. The Russian Orthodox Church today in the Russian world see a civilizing mission in which Russia will liberate the European continent from the spiritual dictate of the United States of America, which lead to the European forgetting the meaning of three key values for them: fatherland, God, and family. What about next? We can see that today's political religious doctrine of the Russian world testify that Russia and the Russian Church ascribe to themselves the property of chosenness and the service this service their imperialistic aspiration. Namely, a few years ago, if you remember, if I would like to remind you that the Russian documentary about the fall of Byzantium appeared, and it is more propaganda than art, of course. But it is clear the desire of the Russian Church to be considered a successor of Byzantium. Be careful; it is a really good, of course, so good. Really good. These points of view going to the Balkan people, and this point of view really manipulate with the feelings of the Orthodox people at the Balkan, and we'll see also how in Islamic agenda they manipulate. If the Byzantium was the second Rome, then now Moscow is the third Rome, and Russia is the successor of Eastern Roman Empire, later called Byzantium, which is represented like a heaven at the earth, and Russia is protector of this Orthodox. Patriarch Kirill justified the invasion of Ukraine, although he did not call it war, but current events as a protection against Ukraine's so-called hostility towards Russia. He points out that Ukrainians and Russians are brotherly peoples who belong to the holy roots, about the given empire. And the evil, according to them, according to him, is the evil and the decadent West was to blame for the enmity between the brothers. Almost all Russian Orthodox Church bishops support or must support the patriarchal course, and unfortunately. And another speech I would like to mention: Russian patriarch said that soldiers who die in Ukraine will be cleansed of all sins. And what is here important that to really believe me, in so-called experts analysis in Macedonia and Montenegro and Serbia, it is a really strong point of view, and the people generally unfortunately believe in this propaganda, and how we can see how it works. So okay, so let's switch on how Islamic propaganda actually go, because the Balkan region is a mixed society, and Islam is present here. So on February 27, 2022, an Islamic scholar based in Chechen capital of Grozny, Mizhinev, had declared that Russian invasion is a jihad generally, and Chechen soldiers, he explained, were fighting for the Quran, for God, and to save both Russia and Islam field spread by NATO. In Russian Republic of Bashkortostan, Tajunin has issued a million talking points justifying the invasion, concluding his statement with citation from the Quran and Surah Al-Baqarah. Kamil Samigulin, the Mufti of the Republic of Tatarstan, has argued that West support of Ukraine is hypocritical, given the intervention in Libya and Iraq, of course, and the treatment of Palestinians, and asserted that Ukraine is controlled by neo-Nazis who have harmed Ukrainians of all confessions, including Muslims. But believe me, in this I must mention that Orthodox propaganda go much more easier than Islamic narrative propaganda, but it is much more connected about the Central Asia Muslim than the Balkans. But I would like to mention to have much more better picture of how it functions. Similar in Moscow, Mufti Albert Karganov expressed that he regret about Ukrainian suffering, but concluded that Ukraine had become a staging ground for an attack on his country, of course, Russia, and he added that Muslims were praying for Russian president and for soldiers in Ukraine, regardless of their religion or nationality. What is the main point? In general, the propaganda suggests that Russia is a country that does not treat Muslims, especially in Central Asia. Especially since the Muslim Republic in Russia, including them, it is much more obvious that those imams are under control of the Russian state, but they present that Russian Muslim republics enjoy completely autonomy. So in this direction, Russia is way to which we follow. Russia is seen as a country that makes the bridges between Islam and Orthodoxy. It is much more significant, especially about the Republic of Macedonia. And Russian propaganda tries to portray Putin as a rightful star, who, together with the new Sultan Erdogan, are the future of the new world order. And finally, I would like to make some conclusions. Russian propaganda towards the Balkans in relation to the war in Ukraine, of course, has a strong religious dimension. Russia seeks to portray the Ukrainian as apostates from Orthodoxy or as a Roman Catholic. Although the relevant data show the opposite, we saw. The Orthodox propaganda narrative goes in the direction of portraying Putin and Russia as the new Byzantium, and protector of orthodoxy and family values against the so-called satanic West. The Islamic propaganda narrative goes in the direction that Russia is the guardian of peace in the Muslim world, and the breach of cooperation between Orthodox Christianity and Islam from the problems caused by the West. So I would like to thank you about thank you, and if you have any question, yeah, I'm ready to answer.
Thank
And
you.
I hope I was clear, and my presentation was clear, and you see how propaganda machinery go in religious dimension, which is important in this direction. So,
Yeah.